If you've ever asked for a to-go box and then left the to-go box sitting on the table at the restaurant, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to another edition of Live Trading. We got Disney earnings. Yikes. Palantir. Whoa, my gosh. Am I glad I traded that correctly? Let's get it.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
Good morning, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Live Trading. Jay Rice, Palantir. Hope you listen, Ryan. Jay, as Palantir was banging highs into the close, I was selling more and more calls to reduce my position, and you're right. Thank God I did. Not only did the stock sell off, but that IV crush on top of it, though the last of that position's going to expire worthless. Thankfully, I have gains already booked, and it doesn't matter. All about managing the positions, and we did that with the price action on Palantir yesterday. Okay, great to have everybody back. Let's bring on my main man, 13. 13, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right this morning. That was a fun little episode we had with Palantir yesterday. Let's see what we can get today.
Okay. Becca saying, I've totally done that. Becca, I think the last time that I went to a restaurant, I actually left my to-go box sitting on the table. And I'll be honest with you, it's that moment where you get home and you get out of the car and you're like, damn it. That's been there. Been there. Glad somebody else has been there too. Okay, let's go ahead and get down to business here. We do have kind of a lot to cover. It's great to see everybody this morning. First thing we're going to take a look at here is the SPY. Now, we traded up yesterday. 13, one of the spots that you have had here on the SPY has been 1550. And yesterday, it looked like we were actually using that as resistance until right near the very end of the session, where it punched through. And then it held those highs in the after hours. And today, it actually looks like we're drifting higher here on the SPY. So I've got 517.32. You can see we had our first close above the 50 yesterday. Looks like we're set up to get another one here today. But obviously, we want to, a lot can happen throughout the course of a day. The other thing that was really noticeable yesterday, and we talked about this on Happy Hour, is that the volume was, for lack of a better word, it was putrid. It was the lowest volume day since the half day after Thanksgiving. It created a new term that 13 coined called half day volume. So when we have these really crummy days on low volume, we're going to call them half day volume days. So that's where we're at in the SPY here. 13, you got anything else on the SPY?
Oh, the SPY just keeps ripping up. It looks like today we might start to see some slowing down since we're not gapping up as massively as we have been the past several days. Blowing through some levels that I have here. Next one we have as resistance is 518.30. We've seen that one be a pretty big intraday level. So I marked it off. And then after that, we have 521 and then the all-time high. So there's a couple of things that could happen here. If we don't start rolling over soon, we're probably going to end up trying to push up through those levels I mentioned and maybe even double top. I've thought that we were going to roll over, by this time now, and that still hasn't happened. So even the double top, expectation, if we continue to go up, might not even happen. We could end up going beyond the all-time high. So I really don't know exactly where the price is headed, if we're going to be double topping, breaking through that, or starting to roll over soon. But I'm just going to keep an eye on my levels, and I'll let you know what I see there. So for now, it's just going to kind of be, how high does this thing go? I'm looking for some slowing down of the upside and some consolidation.
Okay, sounds good there. Real quick, Purgatory Park. I left my favorite sweatshirt at the driving range yesterday. That is a bummer. I'll say this. I actually left a really awesome sweater that I had bought from Costco. Very inexpensive. Owned it for like 3 weeks, traveled to Detroit, and left it at TSA. So been there. What I'll say this, call the golf course or the driving range. Generally speaking, you can get that stuff back. Good luck there. All right. Before we move on here, I do want to remind all of you folks that the stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. So if you need a prop firm, if you need to get over the 25K day trading threshold, if you just need more buying power to execute your strategy, Trade the Pool is the place to go. Be sure to check them out. And actually, we have some trade setups from them today, and here they are. So Palantir, we're going to talk about that here in a sec. Resistance at 23, support at 22. We're going to be waiting for it to break out of its range on all three of these. Rivian, another one here, resistance at 1150, support at 1050, and Apple, 187 on the resistance and 180 and a half on the support. I have all of these marked off on the Trade the Pool broker. So when the market opens and we flip over to the execution platform, we'll go ahead and take a look at all of these on deck here for potential trades today. And I have a couple more that I want to add here real quick. So first one here is going to be Meta. Right. And we got two here that have some potential trades. My entire thesis here, I've been kind of bearish on the market, but 13, as you were just alluding to, we seem to be trading up here in the SPY. Looking across the board here, everything looks a little bit higher here today. I think, let's see if that's changed. Yeah, everything's a little bit higher here today. Meta here, what's interesting is that we had a nice little bounce. We had a nice little consolidation around the 100-day moving average, and Meta is now trading up. So it's actually coming up to test that 20-day moving average. We're only about 14 points away. But the other thing here is we are in a pretty big gap, and this gap actually fills up near that 50 days. So if Meta has any strength to continue here, you might have a potential swing trade on Meta. So keep that in mind. The other one here that is, well, actually, let's talk about Palantir here real quick. Palantir, so as I alluded to at the open here, I was telling you about this swing trade yesterday. I actually got really good price action yesterday. When we were first talking about it in here, I had actually sold 1/3 of the position to book some, and I was fairly content holding the last 2/3 into the print. But as Palantir took another leg up and then pretty much melted up into the close, I'm looking at my position. I'm like, wow, I am up over 100% on these things. Strategy, I know I've already booked some, but strategy says I should really take some more off the table. So literally, as we were trading up near the end of the day, I had my order filled again for like 120% gain on the second tranche of calls. And then I held the rest of them. I was like, you know what? I've made more money than the last tranche of calls is worth. I can't possibly lose on this trade. I'll go ahead and hold them. And boy, oh boy, first reaction here was higher. Looked like that was going to be all right. And then it's just a nasty, nasty reversal. And as Jay was mentioning yesterday, now that the binary event is out of the way, you're also going to have the problem of the IV coming in. So I think you called that IV crush yesterday. That IV is going to come in. So even if this did move in the direction that you had options for, it's likely going to have less premium here today. So I wish this would have beat, because obviously more money, more better, frankly. But though I'm happy with the way that I actually managed this trade going into earnings. I had no idea it was going to trade up like that at the end of the day. Stock was up like 8% yesterday ahead of earnings. And that's the other thing. We've seen that these stocks that run into earnings end up really getting hit. And that brings us to our next stock here, which is going to be Disney. So Disney reported earnings here today. This was about 117. It's 107. It's down almost 8% here, about 7.5%. If we take a look at the daily chart here, it looked like this was trying to curl up. It looked like this really wanted to go higher here. Now we've got Disney trading off to the bottom of this island. So here we go. Another potential trade here on Disney. If we break through this 107 to the downside, a potential gap fill down to 99 on Disney. Now, this is not a stock that I follow. I don't necessarily care for the Disney brand and the Disney products, and I don't really use them or have any exposure to them. So it's part of the reason I don't follow it so much. But curious to hear what you folks think on Disney. 13, I'm going to start with you, if that's all right, if you've got some stuff here on Disney.
Well, the thing I've been trying to figure out here is what they're referring to when I see some of these headlines talking about how their income drops 69%, EPS plummets in earnings, but their EPS was marked as a beat here. I think they're referring to two different kinds of EPS, adjusted and GAAP. So I'd have to go through this this report more, but according to the headlines, their subscribership is up on Disney Plus. They expect it to be fully profitable with streaming in their fiscal quarter 4. So those are all good news. I think there's some more things we need to look into here. They also did some share buybacks, in the first quarter, which is their second quarter. So there's some they probably are right back to where they were buying it at this price. So I really don't have a whole lot more to add on that, other than it looks like things are looking better, but I need to kind of look into why that income drop of 69% and EPS plummeting is a headline, because that's not what some of these earlier headlines were suggesting.
Okay, so we'll see here on Disney. Love to read this here, thinking about it. Shorted Disney at 110 in the pre-market, already covered at 106.80. 3+ points there. That'll get you a register ring. Market's not even open, thinking about it, and you're out here booking gains. Absolutely love it. Disney also said that the park's growth was moderating. That's a nice way of saying it's not great. So
Yeah.
there you go. Now, again, the technical setup here, one of the things that I'm really looking for is going to be the 107 break to the downside. That looks a little bit rough. One of the things that I was kind of talking with Dennis about yesterday, and we've really talked about it recently, is going to be Starbucks here. Again, I'm still kind of watching this for a 70 break. This is definitely a weak chart. And I think if you break 70, you probably have some more room here. So some more potential short trades if we end up getting that action here. Jay Rice, another comment here. Netflix and Meta, not there yet, but the gaps are filling. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. I talked a little bit about Meta. That one is intriguing here. Here's Netflix. Now, Jay, you're right. I actually should have put this one on the list too. Good catch. Netflix here. This gap is filling. It's pretty close. Looks like it fills at about 609. Have the 50-day average here at 602 and the current price at 594. So Netflix also, if this has some continued strength, maybe we do fill that gap as well. Got a bunch of potential trade setups here on the bigger names. We haven't even gone over to some of the smaller movers. So really, really good stuff there. Why don't we go over to some of those smaller movers and talk about them?
Sure.
You ready for that? Okay. First one here in Rustam looks like he's already on this one, AIRE. So let's take a look at that one. Here is AIRE. This is Realpha Tech Core. Realpha Tech shares are trading higher after the company announced the competition of its previously announced acquisition of Namachi. Now, I have no idea what either of these companies do, but I can tell you here, looks like the market likes this stock up about 48% here. Looks like this was kind of going even a little bit higher, maybe even testing that 160 area. We're using the VWAP as resistance, although we're really not breaking down. So that's good to see. But like a lot of these that have this type of setup in the pre-market, we really need to make sure that this VWAP gets taken out and we can hold above it. So would love to have this recaptured on volume. We saw, I think didn't SGE do this yesterday? I feel like it reclaimed one of those stocks that we traded yesterday ended up, it was SGE, right? See how it kind of used the VWAP in the pre-market as resistance, sans this one pop here. And then once it actually ripped through that with the expanding volume, we ended up getting several moves here and it kind of hung out for the rest of the day. So we'll see if we get the same type of trading here on AIRE. First step in this one, taking out that VWAP. You got anything on this one, 13?
Oh, they have a 10.6 million share float. This is the one that had the AI real estate agent. If you recall that whole idea that I was talking about with Felicia and all them. So the completion of this acquisition kind of adds more of AI engineers into their fold. I think they have over 40 before this acquisition, and this just adds more to that. So they're just broadening their capabilities. Very, very big into the real estate and AI. They're trying to meld the two together into become a profitable company. So still in this early stage of that, but this acquisition helps them expand their AI engineering capabilities.
Okay. Real good stuff there. Love this comment. Got to address this. EKS. Good morning, EKS. Great to see you. Who wants to stand in line 45 minutes to do a ride? This is, of course, in reference to the Disney theme park. And you know what's funny about this? I read this comment and I thought to myself, man, that sounds terrible. And then I thought back to my childhood and man, when I went to amusement parks, that's all I did. I waited probably 7 or 8 times for 45 minutes in a line for a ride that lasted a minute tops. And I think now I'm like, I can't imagine ever doing that now. I can't imagine ever doing that now. So I'm with you there.
And
I sure do.
They have like Fast Pass, and I still don't think that that really is, alleviating all the line issues.
Yeah, I don't think so either. James, sans fancy, Ryan. Ooh la la. Yeah, I actually didn't even think about it. It just kind of came out. And I didn't even realize what had happened until it was done. So was not even intending to do that. But Good catch there. Okay. Anyway, let's get down to brass tacks here. Next one on the list is going to be CMND. This is Clear Mind Medicine. We do have a catalyst for this one here today. Clear Mind Medicine shares are trading higher after the company signed an exclusive patent licensing agreement with Yism Research Development Company. Okay, so this stock popping here looks like it found some resistance at 180, but this has done a good job so far staying above that VWAP. Let's see if we can actually trade sideways for a little bit, not lose this before the open, and then maybe get a move towards and above that 180 level on CMND. What are you seeing here on Clearmind 13?
So, yeah, they had that patent agreement. They have a 3.25 million share float. What was really interesting is how we have traded this before. It's moved on previous news. One of the things that it moved on previously was back on November 28th when they did a 1-for-30 reverse split, and this thing took off. Since then, hasn't really had a huge move since then. So we'll see how high we can get this today. But as far as levels go, we're starting off in the low side here, compared to the history of where we've traded this before. First level I'd say that we need to kind of get above is going to have to be 2, and then the 230s are the next level of interest to me. Okay,
there you go on Clearmind. I guess take another look at one of these longer charts here. Here you go on that too. Pretty clear on that 15-minute chart. Okay, good stuff there. Next on this list is going to be MTC. This is MM Tech. Now, I'm not familiar with the company, but I'm familiar with this ticker because I know that we've traded this a number of times off the relative volume scanner. I've seen a number of posts from some of the day traders that I follow on Twitter that have traded this before. Looks like we're getting a pop up here towards that 340. Looks like it stopped at 333 or so. Volume actually looks pretty good here, and I don't see any new news. So it looks like this is just kind of, I don't know, moving on maybe some type of mention, maybe a newsletter or something like that. I don't see the catalyst here. One thing to keep in mind here on MTech, huge float, right? Almost 200 million shares in the float. We are over the average daily volume already, but this one not going to move around like some of these other riskier day trades that we see. So if you're into some of the slower trades, this one might get it if we're able to actually trade up here. Do you have anything on MTC? I know there's not much without the news.
There's no news. It looks like a China pump. They have 198 million shares in the float. I'm not going to say don't trade this one, but just be aware of what you're getting yourself into with this one. It could just pull.
STFU saying the price action over the last 5 days for MTC looks terrible. Indeed, it does. Look at this. Yeah. Just really just moving from 380 down to 215 almost. We're bouncing here today. Not sure that I trust this. Definitely some resistance up here at 350. Maybe if it goes a little bit more, but just look to the left on this one. You can see where this thing has really come from. We might be going back down there, as we've discussed a number of times. So no news there, MTC. That's what's going on. All right, next here is going to be TWKS. This is Thoughtworks Holding. This stock was just about 250 yesterday, popped up towards 350 here today. Thoughtworks Holding shares are trading higher after the company issued strong guidance. Looks like they had a conference call this morning that is already over. I have no familiarity with this company, and in fact, I don't even think that I've ever pulled this up in my broker. Global technology constituency that integrates strategy, design, and software engineering to enable enterprise and technology disruptors across the globe to thrive in a modern digital business. You got anything here on TWKS?
This is moving after, I started looking at some of these movers today. So this is a little bit newer, but I can see that they did have their CEO step down, and the board appointed another CEO. So that change in management might be another reason why we're seeing this volatility this morning. I don't know how good this company is or how profitable they are, but when you see these kinds of management changes, we want to see several quarters under new management to see if they're going to continue to do business well or not.
Yeah, and but Nicholas saying buzzword salad does feel like that. That's a lot of words. Yeah, it sure does. Sometimes you can kind of glean what these companies actually do. Other times, just a bunch of jargon. That's what it seems like here. Okay, next here on the list is going to be BVS. This is Bioventus. Bioventus shares trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q1 financial results and raised its FY24 guidance above estimates. That popped the stock initially to 575. We've backed off that, but we're really kind of holding right underneath this VWAP. In fact, we're not breaking down anymore. So it looks like there's probably going to be an attempt to clear this VWAP here. If we're able to do that in the regular session on really good volume, we should be all right, or we should at least have a pretty clear indication if this is going to work. Ticker BVS. You got anything on this one, 13? I know we're running out of time here.
Yeah, I don't have anything. It's just a new company that popped up on the scanners. The float's 43 million. Earnings report, they had a much better guidance, like a really, a lot better guidance. So that's probably the big reason why we're seeing it up here so much.
Okay, next here is going to be Peloton. This is ticker Peloton. Peloton Interactive shares trading higher after following a report suggesting private equity firms, suggesting that private equity firms are eyeing the company for a potential buyout here. That's popping Peloton. You guys actually think Peloton will get bought out? I mean, I'm pretty sure that the bikes are still fairly popular. I did have one friend who bought one. It's now turned into a clothes hanger, but that's a very small sample size here. Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, it looks like this popped towards 450, came back into the VWAP. That's all I was going to say.
Yeah, if they are going to get bought out, it's not going to be at this price that it's at. I don't think. I think it's going to be much lower. This company has a lot of debt, like a lot of debt, and it has so much that I think it's. I think that they don't have the assets to cover. I think it's that bad.
Yeah, I mean, but the balance sheet here, it looks like it says total assets 2.4 billion, but the total long-term debt there 1.7 billion, just about. That might be. I wonder how old that data print is, but. In any case, these rumors sometimes move the stock. We're actually getting one of those this morning. Peloton is, at least I think this is going to be in play probably all day. We've seen this from Peloton before. I don't feel great about it. It's not as if I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely going to trade higher off that rumor. I mean, it's Peloton. We've seen this stock do a whole bunch of crazy stuff. So I want to see the opening print here on Peloton.
Yeah.
Last one that I really wanted to cover, and we'll go ahead and take some more stocks here from the chat, is going to be HIMS. It's ticker HIMS. The stock reported earnings yesterday. Him and Hers Health shares are trading higher if the company reported better than expected Q1 financial results and issued Q2 and FY24 revenue guidance above estimates. One of the things that we discussed yesterday in Happy Hour regarding HIMS is that they have their own GLP division. And one of the things that I've noticed when it comes to commercials on television for HIMS, they've kind of changed away from the hair growth, erectile dysfunction, more towards the weight loss segment. So I'm not surprised to see that here. This is a pure play on those GLPs. HIMS gapping up here, up 17%. Wouldn't chase these candles, but if you're going to play the Mo on this one, it should have it. Let's see what the volume looks like when the market opens. Okay, we got through the entire list here. Let me flip over to the main workspace. Remember, we will go to the trade the pool broker execution system when the market opens. But in the meantime, let's see, what other stocks do you folks want to take a look at? AIMD was the other one you had, Rustam. This better have volume. That's all I can say. There is. Looks like it did pop here this morning. Yeah, go ahead. 13.
I have an idea real quick. I got some notification across the news feed that TBIO, is going to be doing a reverse split on Thursday. So I'm not saying that we need to jump into this or anything right now. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that once these reverse split, they tend to run a lot. So just keep this on your radar for when it reverse splits. I think we might end up trading this one because it's going to be a mover on Thursday.
Okay, there you go. So looking ahead into that reverse split theme, T-Bio penny stock here today. Let's see how this ends up rolling. When we do get that. You said Thursday, sounds like. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a 1 for 18, and that's going to end up making the float about 305,000 shares. So should
really
move around pretty
float,
easily.
It looks like really low float. Getting real quickly before we open here, getting a request here for Google. We take a look at this stock about every day. Google looks like it tried to pop here towards 169. Let's see what happens when the market actually opens. I don't really think we have anything new on Google here today. No, this is just kind of trading with the rest of the market. But let's see here on Google. Looks like it did try to pop right before the open. Let's see what happens when this actually does open. You can see Google currently curling back up towards that 180. We are off, folks. Let's get it done. Actually, I'm gonna blow my nose 1 second.
We should have an opening nose blow. Let's see. What's Disney doing out of the gate? They going further or are they recovering? It's like kind of just hanging out there. CMMD is moving though.
Sorry about that.
Or about to. Looks like it's trying to push above 108. The pre-market high is 186.
Are we looking at Disney here?
I'm sorry, 180. No, CMMD.
Okay, I'm gonna flip over. I'm gonna flip over to the trade to pool. Oh, you know what? I didn't even get it open. For heaven's sakes, we do that here in a sec. CMMD. Let me click on that. We'll watch that while I'm getting this all ready.
Yeah, it looked like it was to push out over 180, and it didn't happen. So we'll have to see if or what maybe it is going to come around and do it. We'll see. 180 looks like it is the level it wants to break out of. Looking at AIRE, that one just kind of sleepy right now.
Here we go. There we go. Okay. So here we go on Meta, by the way. Looks like we are trying to go a little bit higher. Let's take a look at, oh man, I was not prepared here today. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other stocks that we had on the list. Palantir looks like it's trying to bounce right at the VWAP here. Let's see if Palantir can get ready.
Palantir getting ready?
Palantir is getting ready. So is Google, by the way. We wanted to take a look at that off the opening print here. Google trading up. SPY also trading up. Apple trading up.
How many of the Mag 7s are green right now? Oops. Half. About half.
ARM
Tesla
pulled back right off the open here. What's Tesla doing?
It's down. NVIDIA down, and Netflix is kind of trying to decide if it wants to go positive or not.
So Netflix and Meta, two of those gaps to take a look at.
AIRE knifing.
IP, this on my international paper company, this on my scanner here. I didn't see this all morning. This popping power candle here out of the gate. Palantir trading up here, 2250. So it did move above that VWAP. JMIA, is that moving? I didn't see it on the scanner here. That is moving. So JMIA gapping up here a little bit. Was there news on this? I didn't see it. Maybe I just missed it. Let me take a look here. JMIA. Yes, there was. Jumia
earnings.
Technology shares trading higher after the company reported year-over-year expected Q1 revenue results, increase in Q1 revenue results. So it looks like good earnings here, JMIA. We'll see if we break the top end of the pre-market range here. It looks like it's trying that so far. Rivian breaking down. Palantir still going for that. Palantir still in this range. This is the range right in here that I want to see fall. Looked like it tried to do that earlier. Google, man, what? I'm glad we took a look at this right before we opened. Google strong out of the gate here. Jay, you're going back to Crocs here. So this was just a monster trade here for you. A nice little move out of the gate on Crocs. 10 points. Looks like maybe even 11 points. What was that, 13? I think I ran you over right there.
Oh, I was just going to say something about Palantir, and we had that resistance at 23 from trade to pool. Right?
Yeah, let me go back to that real quick here. Here is their graphic again. For those that missed it earlier, resistance is in fact exactly 23.
Well, we're on our way there, it seems.
Oh, so here's Apple too. So here's the range. That 184 break. This is what we're going to kind of watch here on Apple. See if we get a break either side.
Good morning, Lion Atlas, and everybody else that said good morning. Good morning.
MTC ripping out of the gate here. 374. Did this get halted? Yes. MTC halted to the upside. Boy, oh boy.
Well, that's
not the one I would have thought. Not the one I would have thought, but sure enough, here we are.
Yeah, that's like one of the only ones on the list that's doing well so far.
Yep.
What's Peloton doing? Is that one leaking? Yeah. I had one more on my list we didn't get to. It was
what was it? Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. ESPR. We didn't have time, so it's fine. ESPR. This one had earnings. They had a beat and a high guide. They have 12% short interest with only 2 days to cover. 188 million shares in the float, so might not move as wildly. Can't get that word out. As wildly
Sometimes it's hard. That camera's on and it's just staring at you, and you're like, "What?"
Yeah. I'm not going to even try anymore.
Can't even get those.
It moves
words
around
out
a
here.
lot. It does things.
It's doing the thing.
DSPR coming up to VWAP.
Let's see if it can actually take that VWAP here. Apple coming back in off the top end of the range. Parker's Thinkorswim custom indicators. PLTR grab some at 22 using Bookmap for the first time. I'd like to hear what you think about Bookmap. What are you seeing on there, and how is that actually helping your trading? Would love to hear your feedback on that. Palantir looks like that initial push is kind of slowing up here. Jumia continuing its pop here. This was a really good call.
Oh yeah, a little bit of a pull there on Palantir.
AGBA is breaking down here. This is one from yesterday. Careful on this one. Ben F, another recent girlfriend, that is popping here. We'll see if it can take 6 out. CMND lost that VWAP. At this point, it's got to reclaim it here on CMND. Clearmind. TGTX has good price action. Indeed. I have no position in any of my accounts. I've been in and out of this one for a bit, but I got no position right now in TGTX.
I'm just looking around at some of these other ones. All the ones that we were talking about this morning, they just didn't look great out of the gate here. So I was looking to see if some of these other ones from yesterday or the day before might
AIRE reclaimed the VWAP here.
I did see that it popped back. Oh, now we're really moving with AIRE.
TWKS getting him. Let me just check on that. I'll come back to AIRE here.
Okay.
TWKS lost the VWAP. We'll see if it reclaims it. AIRE pushing here.
Yeah, it's got to get through some consolidation here, but it looks like the after hours high was at 158, pre-market high 145. Not too far away from where we're at right now, but there are a lot of sell orders in the way to get there. 155.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm done.
I'm sorry, 13. NRG here, NRG Energy. This reported earnings here. Nice little power candle out of the gate on NRG.
Yeah, I'm just watching the AIRE and trying to see if this will go up to those pre-market levels of 145. It's just got a lot of sellers to get through. It's getting some help right now, though.
I don't have any depth in here.
Yeah, I mean, there's like tens of thousands of shares trying to get sold between here and 150, 160.
Let's see.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so Apple's trying to take out 184 here. So here we go. Let's see if we can get a back test of this range and hold it. That would give us entry here on Apple. So we just took out this top side of this range. Looking over at the NASDAQ here, that continues to push higher. So that's looking pretty good.
FMC, this is a company that I mean, for a longer term, this is really moving. And they just had earnings that weren't too great, so I'm not sure what this is moving on, but this is really moving for this company.
Which one? Which
FMC?
FMC.
It's a fertilizer company, more or less.
Go back to Apple. Watching this setup here. See if Apple can come back towards 184. Hold it. Here's your 184 test. Let's see what we get here. I got the VWAP at 183.73, so a pullback to the VWAP would make some sense too.
AIRE got as high as 137, and then it just completely knifed. So it looks like this is putting in a bit of a trend here. Let me just draw this. Sorry, I'm so quiet. I'm just like...
No, it's okay. So here we go on Apple. So it did hold that 184. I'm going to try some right here. See if we can get rolling.
Yeah, STFU. I mean, for this company, FMC, that is a pretty big move in a short period of time. It doesn't typically move. I mean, it has moved a lot recently in the past year to the downside, but wasn't expecting it to have such a big move back to the upside. AIRE trying to chew through a 20,000 share wall, and it just got it, so it might be turning around unless it gets pushed back down some more.
Apple's toying with trying to set some new highs here today. We'll see if it's able to do that. I think maybe a pullback to the VWAP is probably in order here. We'll see on Apple, though.
STF you mentioning.
Yeah, here's the
ETFs.
pullback. Here's the pullback that we needed. Okay, let's see if we hold VWAP here.
Wow.
We need a bounce right here on Apple. Otherwise, I'm going to have to cut this. I added back down at the VWAP now that it's holding. If it loses it here and starts moving down, we're just going to cut it. Let's see if we can get a bounce back above 184. Here we go. Here we go. Let's see if we can get this rolling here. Let me take a look here at the chat. In HIMS, Carmen. Okay, so Carmen's trading HIMS post-earnings here. Apple event starts in 20 minutes. Thank you, Lynn.
Ooh.
Now, remember, one of the things that I want to watch here on Apple, is that going to be a sell the news event? I've seen that before. I've seen it be both, so I'm not sure what to make of it yet here. I'm actually trying to get this trade before that event starts. I guess unless it just kind of rips into the event. We'll see here. If it loses this VWAP, though, we might have to reconsider.
RG, that's, hey, that's a smart move. If you're not finding anything, because I'll tell you right now, this is not looking like the most active market. If you're going to sit on your hands today, it's probably a really smart move, because I'm on my screen here, I'm not seeing too many good setups. I mean, the only thing that's really doing me good today is FMC. That thing is just ripping. But other than that, yeah, there's not a whole lot of things flashing up across my screen that look good to me. So
Mine either. Mine either. This Apple's really the best idea I have, and it's not even all that great. We did just take 184. Let's see if we can go higher here on Apple. That'd be really good for this trade.
Love to see the discipline, because that means I get to see you guys again for another day.
That's indeed. Discipline will keep you around in this business longer than almost anything else. All right, let's see if new highs can get set here on Apple. 184.28 is that spot. Little bit of size there, but nothing Apple can't handle here. And through, what joke did I miss?
Wisdom, he's funny.
There we go on Apple. And higher, here we go. That was a decent move there. Let's see what happens at 184.50 here. I do kind of want to book some of these gains. Don't necessarily want to hold this through the start of that. I guess maybe I could, but can always rebuy it too.
AIRE is not having a good day. It's just continuing to go down. We're approaching, $1. And then once it goes under $1, I'm just taking it off my screen and saying, I'll see it when you're back up above $1.
184.50. There's a little bit of orders there. We'll see. Can't quite get through it, at least not yet. Let's see here on Apple. Jane saying CMND not doing much for me this so far. Yeah, a lot of those smaller movers didn't really do all that well here this morning. Still aren't. Apple continuing to push. Definitely want to sell into this candle here. We might be able to trade Apple several times here today with this event going on here. So Apple continuing to push real strong on this candle here. Let's see if we can get above 184.70. I do want to think about closing this here. This was actually a nice little decent trade out of the gate. See if we make one more push towards those highs. There we go. Try at 184.70 again. I'm going to try that again here, Apple. I'm thinking that this momentum probably slows down, and then if we get a regression back to the mean, we should be able to reload the same trade. I do want to see if it pushes above this 184.70 area, though.
That's awesome, Line Atlas. That's almost, I think, near the bottom of where they were essentially bottoming out. That's awesome. And STFU, EBS, yeah, that thing's really starting to move up now.
And there we go on Apple. Okay, we're going to close this one out here for a gain. Nice little trade to start the day there on Apple. I don't think this one's done. Meaning that I think that there might be some more trade setups here. Okay, 13. Now that I've got that trade booked, gain 1 for 1 on the day, so really good start.
Nice.
Now let me go ahead and start flipping around to some of these. We'll keep an eye on the things that you guys are looking at here. AIRE, by the way, rejected right there at the VWAP. MTC
EBS
is open. That's the halter. Sorry, 13.
No, yeah, EBS, it's being mentioned by STFU. This is trying to make its way through yesterday's consolidation in the afternoon. The upside target I have for this is 430. After that, 475.
That's MTC, right?
Yes. No,
Yes.
EBS.
Oh, EBS. Okay. I thought you were talking to EKS. I mixed. That's completely my fault. EBS is curling here off that VWAP. Crocs, Jay, you making even more money off Crocs? 140. That continues to push up here. I can't remember which company. Crocs owns Hey Dude. Was that you guys were telling me about some other shoe, because I was telling you how much I despise what the actual Crocs shoe looks like. There was another shoe that Crocs owns. It might have been Hey Dude.
Yeah.
It
they
is?
partnered with Dude Perfect. Yeah. Hey Dude's brand. Yeah. 2021. They bought it for 2.5 billion. And I wear Hey Dudes. They're very
so do I. I've got some too. They're very, very inexpensive. They last me a year to 2 years. They slip on socks, no sock. They're great. Hey Dudes are great. By the way, here, Google, this did come back into the VWAP and is bouncing here. This was real strong. And who was this that mentioned Google right at the beginning here? I wasn't watching it, but I should have been. Oh, here we go. Jay Rice saying Crocs was down pre-market because of the Hey Dude guide, but earnings were huge. Interesting. I will agree with Lynn, though. Lynn and Randy here. Canes is the way to go. There's a place for Hey Dudes, but the Canes recovery shoe I like more than both Crocs and Hey Dudes.
I'd agree with that if we're talking fried chicken.
Snoopy. Good Snoopy's Snow Cones and More. Is that a business that you own? I actually thought that was the dog from the Peanuts. But in any case, great mention on Google here this morning. Real big power move out of the gate there. And doing it with the NASDAQ.
Looks like MTC found a top for now, 464. Trying to decide if it wants to go higher or not. Peloton. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say CCJ. I noticed on the relative volume scanner, Jay Rice. But I tell you what, Jay Rice, I'm just going to give you a couple of things here right now. You had mentioned CCJ the other day. The dip was bought. I think the stock was just under 50. If I recall correctly, you were saying it looks like it's going to take 50. Big day for CCJ yesterday. More continuation here today. Really good volume. Kamiko here above 52. I probably should have turned this one into a long-term hold. I think I was trading this a little too short-term. This has been a really good one.
Doesn't seem like the play today has been those morning movers.
No, it sure hasn't. Costco trading up here. Awesome. Euro only a few pennies from the highs. That's a CCJ peer, I believe. Yeah, wow. Big day yesterday, another big day here today. Wouldn't chase these green candles here, but this is definitely something to keep on watch.
You know what, STFU, I think you were right to say it was going parabolic earlier, but it was just kind of slow moving. But it's still parabolic, absolutely. FMC does pay a nice dividend. It's one of the reasons to long-term hold for me, but also it's absolutely ripping today. Actually, we're getting close to the a resistance level of where it's been visiting every time it moves up into the 65 handle. So this is a big resistance area that we're coming into right now. I think we'd probably see some selling slowing down, or maybe start to see some profits taken.
Apple here looks like this is pulling back from the highs. This is exactly what I wanted to see when I was looking to exit my position earlier, because I suspect with the volatility and the event here today, there's going to be multiple opportunities to trade this. Look at this pullback here on Apple. We'll see if we get this to the VWAP. I've got the VWAP at 184.07. Remember, 184 was our breakout level for this first trade. Let's see if Apple makes its way back there.
Looks like CMND is trying to stay relevant here. I think now might not be the time quite yet, but it looks like it's getting close to wanting to turn around and get back up to this consolidation.
CMND. I did it the other way around. Here we go. Let's see if this does reclaim the view app here. I'm wondering if I should try some of this here. You know what?
$186 is the pre-market high.
Yeah, and I'm thinking we could get there. I'm going to try some here. We'll see if this pulls back towards the low. If it does, we'll probably be out. Don't want to soak up all of the gains that I made on that first trade. All I had to do was talk about it, folks. That was me. Let's see if we bust through the view up here. 170 has the size. If that falls, I think we go higher here. What was that level you had? 180, 185?
Yeah, 186 is the pre-market high.
CMND. Higher risk here than that Apple trade, which gave us a more clear picture. Apple's still coming in here. Let's see if I can get a stop set up here just to make sure. Yeah, we're going to stop out here at 158 if this, we'll see if this works here. I want to see if this reclaims the VWAP. Oh, that looks like I'm going to get stopped here.
MTC looks like it's going to try
and stopped out. Sorry. MTC flipping over to it.
Looks like it's going to try to get some support from VWAP and then push, try to push higher. That's just the current setup it has right now. You know, Brett, I do have losers too. But yeah, when I have a long that's working out, especially when I'm in pretty heavily, I'm very happy about it. EBS, man, this thing is still going. Still have 430. I know you have a different target there, STFU, but oh, we're getting a big flash from GSUN. GSUN. Everybody's saying GSUN. Let's take a look.
Yep. Nice. That move through its highs here on GSUN. Golden Sun. This is one of those Chinese names, if I'm not mistaken.
So if I'm correct with my memory here, which, could be questionable.
It's hit or miss sometimes with me.
Yeah. This is the first day that some of these Asian markets are coming back from their holidays. So we should be seeing some increased activity in those markets. Remember we were talking about that last week?
Yeah, and that might have played into our low volume day yesterday.
Yeah. So just some things to think about with that.
J&J saw a decent sized call sweep here, 165s. That is the expiration, October expiration, bought 1,350 contracts, spent $202,000 on that position. That's ticker J&J right here. Notable unusual options trade coming across the wire.
Just setting levels in GSUN. This thing is moving.
MTC back to its VWAP. Apple getting a mention. Apple back to its VWAP. Oh, we traded that one great out of the open. I will take that. I will take that.
Well, with GSUN, I don't like how that's so spread out. I have the the next upside target for GSUN is 865, which is a long ways away. I'm just trying to see if there's anything I can, any levels I can find.
Wiz saying that the compliance news was similar to Ben F last week.
Yeah.
And this is a good spot there, Wiz, because you're taking something that you saw the other day and trying to apply the same pattern here today. Love that. GSUN absolutely ripping here. Decent volume as well. GSUN hitting the 100 EMA on the daily, says Jonathan. Actually, that EMA is a reminder that every time I see EMA, I think of Andy from Mighty Soldiers Trades, honestly, because he uses them so effectively. We're going to try to, let's see if I can bring him on tomorrow.
Yeah, Kingdom Blend, I think you're right. I mean, it's that's why I haven't traded MTC either. I think these are just, artificially pumped, and they're going to end up trapping a lot of people in it, and it's going to be awful. I'm right there with you. Just so if you are going to trade this, just understand the risk. HIMS actually now finally breaking down. 200 EMA could not hold it any longer on the 5 minute.
Hey, look at this. Jay Rice, trim some Crocs. I'm going to take a few pennies of the profit and try a reverse splitter. Call it the casino. Taking some T-bio ahead of the reverse split.
Yeah, that's a lottery ticket.
So I can't decide, just from reading that, I can't decide if I want this trade to work or not to work. Because Jay has a proven system that obviously works for him. And now we're getting him to taste the sugar bowl. And if it works, maybe he goes back to it and we'll see what happens. If it doesn't work, he's probably just gonna be like, this stuff's garbage. I'm gonna stick to my plan. We'll see what happens there, Jay. I actually think that's funny that you're going into that.
Yeah, just remember you're getting into it before the reverse split, so that's gonna. I don't know. That go for it. I hope it works out. I'm gonna be paying attention to T-bio once it does the reverse split, but I'm not gonna be getting in it before then. So I want to see how this works out for you. Hope it works out.
Oh, the storms are rolling in here. If I lose power and I drop 13, carry us to the promised land.
I have no control.
I have no control. ESPR. Do I think it will squeeze today? Kingdom Lamb, let me tell you something. Not looking good. This thing is the pop in the pre-market here pretty much sold all the way back down to balance. I don't know. Now, some of these do pop later in the day, so maybe keep it on your radar. I would not be buying this here for a trade.
Yeah, so this one does have that 12% short interest, 2 days to cover, 188 million shares in ESPR. I don't think that the short interest is going to help us a whole bunch here with ESPR. The other one that was also heavily shorted was Peloton. That actually has a 16.5% short interest with almost 5 days to cover. That actually might be a better candidate for a squeeze than ESPR, in my opinion. It's a little harder for shorts to cover with Peloton.
G-Sun, Wiss, I think you were one of the, I know a lot of people are mentioning G-Sun, so I'm going to spread the credit around, but I remember Wiss saying it early here, also with the nice analysis on the newsprint that was similar to Ben F. Just a huge, this is the thing's a monster. This is already a double here, G-Sun. This is the trade of the day for sure. Trade of the day for sure. Great stuff by our group getting it hit. Here we go.
All right, MTC. If we're gonna see this bull flag resolve, we're gonna have to see it turn around and take out 464 pretty soon here.
Christoph saying, G-Sun, I'm done. Nice trade there. That's how you start your day.
Yep.
Sahara Sassy, wow, just made $1.15 a share. So right there, this is why we trade some of these junkier stocks, because if you catch a momo runner like this, you can really make a lot of points very, very quickly. Now, it's not easy to do. Don't let our discussions about it change the fact this is hard, right? And we practice every day. We miss, we take losses all the time. But when you hook one, this is what can happen. Really good stuff here from the group this morning.
Yeah, great job on your gains. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep. Really good job out here this morning. And it's, tell you what, it's just, it feels nice and orderly here. We noticed that some of the tickers that we had on the list really weren't performing. We got a nice setup on Apple that I was able to take care of. And now one of the smaller names is starting to move. We've got a catalyst for it behind it. So it looks like we're doing the right things here today. And that's not even counting those of you that are swinging things into today that are absolutely crushing it, like Crocs, for example. So really good stuff here from the group all the way around.
Gosh, that is some awful looking volume in the SPY. 5 million shares we've traded so far, guys. Let's give ourselves a pat.
5 million. Wow. ARM, by the way, looks like this is moving lower here on ARM.
HIMS really starting to come down. Who was it that was trading HIMS? You took your
Carmen. I think Carmen took a position here this morning. I don't know if it's a new position or if she was adding. Maybe she can clear that up. HIMS really kind of coming back in.
Yeah, I think she said she was getting into it when it was initially headed down, and then it had this pop after touching the 200 EMA on the 5 minute. I'm just curious if she was trading that movement or if she's trying to go for a long-term position.
Felipe asking for thoughts on Carvana. We've actually been looking at this one the past couple of days here. This thing has just been on an absolute huge move. Very, very high short interest and has had that for a while. This to me definitely feels like a squeeze. I can't really apply any type of fundamental analysis to this stock and feel good about it. I basically look at the chart, I look at the short interest, and I see if there's a catalyst that might be driving it. That's about the extent of my game plan here on Carvana. I don't know if you've got anything else on Carvana 13.
Well, I'm looking at the chart, the daily chart. I'm looking at the MACD, and I'm looking at the RSI. And all those things, to me, look like this is going to be close to rolling over soon. RSI is very oversold. MACD is starting to begin its like that curl that it does right when it starts to peak. And we have a topping out in the chart here at 129 on CVNA. If we do start to roll over and we see a breakdown beneath 112, I'd be very concerned about this gap filling. So, yeah, I know, Nicholas, the FMC, what a mover this morning. I'm loving it.
Nice orderly mover too.
Oh yeah, and this has been a company I've been on for a while, and when it was selling off last year, I was just gobbling this thing up. I was getting into this weakness because this is a good company. And
but that's what I see. That's my favorite type of trading right there. We have a longer term outlook on a company that you really like, and you're basically adding on days when it's weak for days like today. All right, let me ask you: are you lightening your position? Are you booking any of those gains, or is this part of a longer term plan?
I've taken. Because of how fast it moved up this morning, I took a tiny bit off my position, not a whole lot. I want to let this thing's going to be over 100 again one day.
Okay, and so you've paid yourself, you've protected your trade a little bit on the way up, but you're actually still waiting for the bigger move here.
And
gotcha.
And in the meantime, every quarter they pay a dividend, so they're going to pay me to wait. I'll be patient. It's a good company, good place to park money. It's just that it's a fertilizer company, so it is going to trade with the times. Right now, it's I don't think that the earnings were particularly great, so I think they're just there's just a lot of buying on. Okay, well maybe the low print is in this company now because it was down to $50 earlier this year.
Ooh, look at Tesla. That continues to move lower here.
Hey, stay focused. Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you, man?
Hey, stay focused. We are well. Had a nice little trade on Apple right out of the gate, and I didn't quite top ticket, but did pretty well here. Going to keep watching Apple today just to see if this event causes any type of tradable volatility in it. But overall, doing well here. Are you done with MTC? Should I buy now? Accounting team, we cannot give advice, or nor can we tell you when to buy. I would say I don't think I'm done. Well, maybe this break through the VWAP on MTC. Maybe let's see if this comes all the way back into 3. I probably personally am done with this, but I don't think that the story of the stock is over here today.
UPLD. This one moved yesterday, and it's moving pretty good this morning. The volume isn't as big as it was yesterday, but it's making its way up towards yesterday's intraday high of 355. So I'd be curious to see if we even get up there, and if we do, we could possibly break out from there.
Extremely dark here in the Chicagoland area. HIMS was the play today, maybe under pressure, currently out of the stock. So HIMS, of course, reported earnings. I think that the pressure that you're referring to, the CEO was out publicly saying he would be glad to hire a bunch of the protesters, which, by the way, are skipping work and asking for free food and doing all of these things. So he can't, I guess he tried to walk it back a little bit yesterday or this morning, saying that, oh, I can't believe people would take this, my support of a peaceful protest. Okay, dude, just stop. Just stop.
This was which CEO?
The HIMS CEO.
Oh, okay. MTC was getting mentioned by Danielle. I'm sorry.
The huge knife there moving over here.
So we couldn't get that support we were looking for to get the resolution of that bull flag. This thing is coming down to it's about to come down to the pre-market high, which I have at 333.
Google here, maybe a move off the VWAP here. This curling Google's been back and forth all day here today, all morning here so far.
Voodoo's funny.
Indeed. NFLX. Let's take a look here at Netflix. This may be continuing its gap fill. Meta kind of holding in here. Oh, look at that. Meta broke the bottom of this channel.
Just looking around right now. Looking for something to trade. GSUN went as high as 725 and pulled back. So my 865 wasn't too bad, but still didn't get there.
Let me bring GSUN up here. Meta, this I'm going to check back on this in a sec here. I think we might have another trade here in Meta. Here's GSUN 13. I'm going to step away for just 1 sec.
No problem. Atlas, Blind Atlas, amazing. FMC is, I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. They just had earnings too, and I don't think they were that great, but I'm glad that this is moving. I'm glad you made some money in that one. I'm glad that anybody else. Yeah, I know, Sam. It seems that it seems that way. There's not a whole lot to trade, it seems today. It seems like the bigger names are doing better today than the smaller ones that we usually mess around with. And we do have all day, yeah. You have a 725 resistance level. Well, guess what? That's where exactly we went up to. So your level is much better than mine. Which for him donates. Yeah, that's. I'm not going to get into that. Let's see. What else do we have here? ATGL halted on the way up for the second time. I'll take a look at ATGL. Sorry, I don't have it on my screen. ATGL. Oh, wow. And this is suspended. So this is halting on its way up. What does this company even do? ATGL. Who else saw that this one was moving and didn't say nothing? What are you guys doing this? So they are a cloud-based IT solution service provider in Hong Kong. Another China pump, guys. That's what this is. So I guess if MTC is done, this is where they're moving on to. So trade that how you will. Just be careful. GME making similar moves.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
It's Asia. Well, Hong Kong is now, I guess part of that China fold.
Stay focused. Saying Uber here, struggling to get above its VWAP. What do you guys think? Indeed, the pops above the VWAP have been met with some selling. Interesting. You thinking about a short here on Uber? Maybe a breakdown through this VWAP. You might have that. BENF getting another mention. Oh, yeah. BENF is popping here.
Man, this thing had an after-hours run all the way to 987.
By the way, just as a little bit of a tease, we are going to have Andy from Mighty Soldiers Trades joining us tomorrow. So
nice.
we mentioned the EMA. I was able to reach out. Looks like he's going to join us tomorrow. So stick around for that. Smash up the like, and then be sure to do it again tomorrow when he's here.
Yeah, we need to just make sure we just with Batman, we just put the 65 EMA into the sky and he'll show up. EBS had a nice pop. Man, that thing is just not put in the greatest looking wicks. Maybe HIMS is finding a bottom. Now, does GSUN go the same way of MTC? We'll find out here if it can't hold VWAP, which I have at 570.
ARM looks like that's kind of finding an intraday bottom here. GSUN almost at that VWAP.
The Crow saying, in his opinion, SGBX trailing BENF, and we traded both of those previously.
Palantir, maybe that did bottom out here. Here's Apple. Let's see if Apple can reclaim that VWAP. Does anyone have a... I don't know if they're going to show any of this on TV. I don't know if there's any way to stream it either.
Well, let's see if I can find something.
Yeah. Disney here. Interesting. This might have intraday bottomed, or that doesn't make any sense. This might have found its intraday bottom.
All right.
IBM. Someone else mentioned IBM, I think, earlier today. Go ahead, 13. I'm sorry for running you over.
I just sent you the link to the Apple event May 7th that they had on their YouTube page.
Oh, sweet. So we can do that. Okay, I'm going to share this with the group here. Thank you, 13. Yeah, we got to see if we can get you the ability to post links in here. Here's the link that 13 found for me. So here's the Apple event for today. I guess maybe I will keep this on another tab here. We'll see how much of it I can watch. Is it started? Yeah.
I think so. Lion Atlas, I'm taking a look at that. So thank you for pointing that out to me.
Yeah, it looks like that is going here.
Yeah. I feel like I'm a little late to the uranium play. I'll have to do some research, because when I look at this chart, I feel like I'm chasing, to be honest. Now, there might be some more here, but I don't know how much more. But I'm not going to say that this is a bad company or anything, or it's turning around and going down. It's just that when I look at how much it's run, just this year alone, not to mention since the middle of last year, I feel like I'd be chasing it. But I do appreciate you telling me about it. This is CCJ.
CCJ, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This was a really good one. I know, Jay,
Yeah.
you've been in this since 2022. I've traded this a whole bunch. Really, the disappointing thing for my own position here on CCJ is that this was one I should have just held on to. Right? I was trying to actively trade the wrong stock and then hold the wrong stock. CCJ is one that I should have held.
Yeah, my uranium exposure is not what it should be, in my opinion. So,
is an intro. I'm sorry.
No, it's right.
I've done that like 3 or 4 times here today. I'm really doing a bad job today. 13. I'll try and button that up.
It's okay. Just talk, man.
Real quickly here. I like this. Got a few G Pro calls. That's GoPro, right? So you bought G Pro calls. Wondering, they report earnings tonight. You're saying that maybe they do a JMIA and kind of run here tomorrow. Interesting. Don't chase CCJ. Agreed. In fact, we've seen when this pulls back, the dips have been getting bought, right? That's when we want to buy this. We don't want to be chasing the green candles. We want to wait till we get some weakness and then re-add there. Good stuff, Jay.
Yeah, so I think with this one, if I do decide to get into CCJ, the first thing I would make considerations for is a return to the 200 SMA, the 200-day SMA. That seems like it not only is a good level, but it has some support from back in September when it popped up there. So that would be that would be interesting to me. I want to see it get back there first.
It is pouring here in Chicago, and it is dark. It looks like it's 10 o'clock at night outside. This is awesome. This is absolutely awesome. Wisdom is eating edibles really early in the morning. Go figure.
Hey, man, whatever gets you through the day.
Hey,
All right, G-Sun. This might actually do the bull flag resolution.
Smoke Tuna mentioning BuzzFeed, which is, I can't even bring myself to buy that stock. G-Sun. I just can't. It
looks like it's trying to resolve the bull flag here. We just need to see this candle start to move up some more. If we break down beneath VWAP, then it's probably not happening.
So this is an interesting question. First of all, Heats 007. Anyone that throws 007 into their handle is an immediate friend of mine, because James Bond is awesome. But really quickly, in regards to your question here, your thoughts on Hood. Remember, Hood got a Wells notice recently from the SEC, and which means that they're going to be bringing some type of litigation to Hood. So my thoughts here is that, frankly, this is a no touch. Now, if you have some type of plan or line on a short-term earnings trade or something that I don't necessarily have context on, that's one thing. But again, we just got this news about the Wells notice here on Hood. For me, I would stay away from this. As you saw here this morning, we have plenty of other stuff for us to trade here. I understand if this is a longer-term hold for you, it's probably a little bit different, but just kind of keep that in mind.
G-Sun looking pretty good so far. Just need to maintain this volume and keep on pushing.
You guys
SEC hates. It does seem like they do. I mean, Hood really did piss a lot of people off when they did that whole you can't sell or do anything with GME. Remember that whole
Look, you tell 13, you tell me, if anyone tells a trader you can't buy or sell, or you can't sell your positions, you can't manage your positions,
good luck. I'm not going to do business with you ever again.
Thank you. Thank you. Good luck. I'm not going to do business with you. Indeed. S-Bucks here. Remember, we're waiting on a 70 break to the downside for a potential short there. Hims, maybe this is bouncing here. I'll go back to GSUN. That seems to be the big mover here. We'll see if GSUN takes out 7.
Yeah, just be careful with GSUN. It should be moving up more than this right now. It did have a nice bounce off the VWAP area, but just be careful.
Tandem OLED being announced for the iPad. Incredible 1,000 nits of brightness. Okay, so iPad getting a refreshed screen. I'm not even making fun of it. I'm just
I'm laughing at Sally. I'm laughing at Sally. She's funny.
PLTR is breaking my theoretical balls. Silly. This Palantir is rough here. There's no question that this is rough here. And actually, you know what? Wait a sec. Let me check something here real quick. Okay.
It broke it. Yeah.
Guess what? So it is always, I'm a big believer that it is time to give credit when credit is due. And trade the pool here. We traded Apple, or I traded Apple, I should say. Palantir was another stock on the list, and they listed that support at 22. Well, if we take a look at the actual trading platform here, the break of 22 happened right here. I actually have it marked as 21.95. It broke it, it retested it almost perfectly, and now it continues to break down. So this trade also working. Shout out to Trade the Pool. 2 of the 3 things that they gave us here have worked so far. Let's check on Rivian. I don't even know that I've pulled that up here. Can they go 3 for 3? Actually, yes. It looks like this did break the 1072. Now, when it curled back up, it did not quite get there, but it got within pennies, and then it broke down and it's not been able to reclaim that. Trade the Pool, big shout out to Michael Gill and the guys over there. The stocks on watch here today, all 3 of these gave us trades. All 3 of these. In fact, I'm going to mention it. I don't think Gil's here today, but I'm going to mention it to him because that was awesome.
Chat's mentioning MSGM, and this thing is on a tear right now, looking for 350. Wisdom. Hey, it looks like Sally really got wisdom ruffling.
Wasn't Wisdom talking about like eating multiple edibles earlier today? I would imagine he'd be raffling all day, dude.
Just read his comment. You'll understand. It'll all become clear. Now we have a big pull with MSGM.
Laughing heals the soul. Now I'll agree with that. Jay's Life, good morning. The new avatar, I didn't even recognize it. I think I kind of just looked over your name there. Apologize. CGC here. It looks like you're looking at this one here. This is trading up here. Don't really see a huge move in this though.
DJAF. If you're referring to BYD, Buffett really slashed the hell out of his stake in that. He does not own a big stake in it anymore. He doesn't own nowhere near as much as he used to own. He's really cut down his position in BYD big time. ATGL is breaking down.
DJAF. I have friends from Chicago who drive to Michigan to buy their edibles because Chicago's hella expensive for weed. I can confirm all aspects of that story. It is absolutely expensive here, and many people do drive to Michigan. It's not far.
It's like people from Idaho driving to Washington.
They share a border, don't they?
Yes, they do. And you know that they're getting popped as they come back across. Well, what do you think? Was it Crow that was trying to seize you yesterday? We were looking for 11. Looks like it's coming up off of the the lower nines, trying to get back to 10. What are we thinking, Crow? You think this is going to get back up there?
Well, Crow is giving you an answer really quick. Lynn and Randy, I'm just glancing over here at the Apple presentation. They're talking about the M4 chip. So
yeah,
the M4 chip in the iPad, that was a rumor that you were waiting for out of this event, and it looks like we're getting it. Am I correct on that? Because I can't hear them because I'm focusing on what we're doing here, but I'm just kind of glancing over and I noticed they were talking about the M4 chip in the iPad. There you go. Great job. Lynn and Randy, you guys have been all over that. You have been mentioning that what feels like for weeks. Really good stuff there, folks. One up for you guys for your research.
Wisdom saying Buffett went more Japanese and Chinese. They are like dueling banjos. So I don't know exactly what Buffett bought, but I'm pretty sure that if he did get into a company like Toyota, he's playing the hybrid side. That's what I think that he's doing, because that apparently is going to be the way that we've discussed this before too, Ryan. Where it seems like EVs just aren't getting the appeal as much as hybrids are. We kind of have to go through that whole vehicle transition more than just going directly from ICE to EV.
Yeah, in fact, hybrid, the clear winner based on stock performance, sales numbers, and all of that. And you think about it, you make sense that until the infrastructure for full EV is completely built out, it makes sense that the intermediary step is going to be where most people settle. And I think that's exactly what you're seeing here in the EV. Now, when we've talked about this before in Happy Hour, we've talked about different phases of EV adoption, and perhaps we're in that phase where the hybrids are adopted the most. But I'll tell you, looking ahead here, I don't know how long that's going to last, right? I mean, how long is it going to take to actually have a charging infrastructure built out? How long is it going to take for the battery technology to get better? I feel like this hybrid saga or this hybrid thesis that we're in could last for years.
Yeah, thank you, Wisdom. There's also fuel cell that's also starting to pick up steam too. We might get hydrogen as well.
Aren't fuel cell applications in like industrial already happening? I feel like
I believe in some. So here we go back to talking about Nikola again.
Oh gosh, didn't they report earnings this morning?
I don't know if they did.
I believe that they did, and now it's down to 60 cents.
But this is one of the companies, the EV companies, that's trying to get that whole hydrogen fuel cell infrastructure build out. Another thing about the charging infrastructure, there's a big question mark now that Tesla has fired so many of their charging employees, or their charging infrastructure employees. So kind of makes you wonder what is, if we're actually going to even get there anytime soon with those plans for the chargers.
Meta not continuing its gap fill here today. The NASDAQ here looks like it's moving down. It's still green on the day, but barely. It is pretty much at flat. Google, from that mention earlier, Google curling back up towards those highs. That's ticker GOOGL that I'm looking at. GOOG, very, very similar. Be very clear about which one I'm actually looking at.
See, STFU, that's really interesting to me, and I'm curious if you know of any public companies that are really getting into the thorium power plants. Like we're talking about small scale nuclear power plants that can be used in just regular cars or smaller devices. I'm super interested in this. So if you have any information about any company that's public that's developing this, please let me know. I'd love to learn some more.
Good stuff. Every time I go to click on a comment, the chat updates and I click the wrong comment. And I've had to click several times here.
Chat, you
Kashkari, quote, monetary policy may not be as restrictive as thought. Kashkari out here trying to do damage.
Is this a what is this a comment on more rate increases, or what?
Well, I'm not watching him, but I'm seeing some headlines here coming across Benzinga Pro for comments from Kashkari. Some other ones here, if anyone's interested. Kashkari says housing market is proving more resilient to tight monetary policy than it has been in the past. Possible that housing market resilience means neutral rate has been pushed higher, at least in the short term. Inflation progress seen in later half of 2023 appears to have stalled. Question is whether disinflation is still underway or just taking longer. It says recent slow GDP due to inventories and net exports, underlying demand raised strong yield curve inversion does suggest that policy is tight. Those are your comments there.
Beach bum. If they are, that's more information I'd like to learn about, because that seems like a pretty good idea. Seems like a more of a low carbon footprint idea.
BENF near the highs. You're welcome, Brett.
Looks like HIMS might be coming back here. Found a bottom around 1207, trying to return. Currently at 1278. Interestingly enough, GSUN hasn't broken down yet, but I would bet that they are going to soon. BENF just been wild. AIRE never recovered.
Yeah, I'm rolling through stocks here. MTC not recovering. Nope. AIRE drifting lower here.
ESPR is just, slowly trying to do it. These small movers, they're not doing it for us today. Maybe some of them, but not most of them aren't.
It was really GSUN, right? That was really the only one that provided a great trade here today. I guess maybe if you want to throw JMIA in there on that VWAP reclaim, maybe. HIMS curling up off the bottom there.
Carmen, I kind of am getting that, but they all seem to be around a central theme of let's do hydrogen or nuclear or something small scale. It's an existing technology we have. We just need to scale it down to a smaller smaller engine, smaller capacity. I'm interested to hear what they're do, because one of these is going to end up emerging as the big winner, and everybody will start going that way. Hey, Lynn, it's looking like it's going to be like it's in the running to beat yesterday as the lowest volume day of the year. Yesterday, year to date, SPY only traded 40 million shares. Lowest volume day of the year. Lowest since Brian was saying since November when we got a half day.
Half day volume, baby. I love the new term. Volume. I love it.
Half day volume. We only have traded 10% of the average volume. So,
it'll be interesting. We do have Anne Marie coming up after our show here today. And Anne Marie likes to do some of those multi-leg options trades where basically if the stock just kind of stays flat, you end up making money. And it'll be interesting to see if she's got more of those here today based on some of that lower volume. I might ask her about that. I might ask her how she looks at overall market volume to determine how she positions some of those options trades. You guys are giving me ideas here.
This with those, is she, probably better to ask her, but is she just kind of looking at this like, okay, well, the stock price isn't going to move a whole lot, but my options are going to expire. So
yeah,
she'll trade the time.
So she'll look at the range of the price, and then she'll look at the time frame and what events might be in there. And she'll say, well, if I don't expect the stock to go over this price and I don't expect it to go under this price, then I can structure an options trade to maybe sell some of those contracts and then collect the premium. I'll ask her, though. I'll ask her.
Yeah, Carmen, that's absolutely 100% true. We are going to have such huge power needs. This year, 2024, expect to see rolling blackouts nationwide. It's not just AI. It's still people trying to tap into the grid for their EVs and charge those. It's crypto mining that's also adding to pressure to the electrical grid. Lots of things are going to be causing rolling blackouts this year, and that's what you just said is one of them.
Not seeing a whole lot out there, folks. Apple continuing to move down here on this presentation. Boy, am I really glad I was able to trade that to the upside prior to this presentation.
Sam,
what did we talk about with terms of maybe a sell the news event on Apple?
Yeah.
Talking about that. Maybe that's what we're getting here. Sorry, 13.
Sam was asking, what's the significance of low volume days? Well, it could be several things, but usually when we see these low volume days, there's just a lack of participation. It's mostly just algos and retail traders right now. I don't think very many institutions are trading a lot of these names, especially the broader market, because no one wants to really start buying here at these valuations. It's everything is not everything, but a lot of things are overvalued. Brian, you just made a point yesterday when you were talking about how Buffett came on over the weekend during their conference call and saying, we have record amounts of cash. We don't see anything that we want to buy right now because the valuations don't make sense. That's where a lot of these folks are at. They want to see this weakness. That's why I want to see this weakness. I want to see some market correction so there's more opportunities to buy. We don't have buying opportunities up here at this market right now.
How many times do we talk about not chasing green candles or green days and adding on weakness? Well, we want to see some prolonged weakness here and some big moves down so that we can add quality companies at a discount. That's an overarching strategy.
I saw your post, Brian, as I'm taking a look. LEU, Centrus Energy Corp. I'm going to take a note of this. Thank you for the ticker, by the way, at Linus.
Snap trading up a little bit. STF, you were saying Snap looks good here. This continuing to run here. This does kind of feel like a chase. GSUN broke beneath its VWAP. Kava getting a mention. How's Kava? This has been a rager recently. How's that doing here today?
It had a good day yesterday, too.
Yeah, sure did. Looks like the dip got bought here this morning. No position on Kava for me in any account. Unfortunately, it's been great.
Well, Sam, that's an interesting point, because sometimes when people are scared, when there's geopolitical tensions and whatnot, and it leads to market sell-offs, those can sometimes be good buying opportunities. So, I as much as I would like the market to correct, I don't think it's very. I'm trying to find the right word, but I don't think it's a great thing for me to be saying, like, I hope something happens to get the market down, because I really don't want anything to happen in this world. I live in it, but I do want to see some market weakness. So I'll take whatever makes that happen.
JMIA continuing its nice day here as it's moving higher than the VWAP.
Apple Pencil Pro, did they release something like that? Yes.
They did talk about a new pencil. So are they really calling it the Pencil Pro?
It's on the stream right now.
Yeah.
This thing. I don't even, I'm not listening to it though. Dude's literally looking around for his.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. By the way, Root here is a stock that we take a look at. This popping here on volume on Root. Maybe it'll break out of this consolidation area. Let's see, 59.23 would be that area. If we break out of that, I think Root can probably trade up towards 68.
JJ, if you're referring to my my answering the question for Sam, he was asking about why the volume was so low, and we were just talking about the geopolitical issues as it being a reason why. One of the reasons, anyway.
FGen curled up on some expanding volume here. Let's see if that dries up right here at this 160 or if it allows us to go through it.
How's the SPY looking? We're just kind of hanging out here. SPY is positive. Everybody is hiding out in these big names.
SPY, yeah, SPY's just kind of holding in there. It's only up 72 cents.
Wow. So the selling has really accelerated in NVIDIA and Tesla since I last looked at this morning. Interesting. No, Lion Atlas, I got it. I wrote LEU down. I'm going to check that ticker and take a look at the company. I appreciate it. The AI toilet, says Wisdom. He can't wait.
Once I read AI toilet, I was like, I probably better not read the rest of this. Let me know if it's PC or not. CMND, your first stop is your best stop. We tried that high risk trade that broke down.
Sam, Trump 4 more years. I'm not going to make any predictions on who's going to win, but I agree that if he does come into office, it's going to drive. We just talked about this yesterday.
Yeah, we did
on Happy Hour. It's going to drive algos crazy, and there's going to be a lot of good trade opportunities. It's going to be a great trading environment if he's reelected. I'll agree.
Yeah, we've actually seen the algos really kind of dominating this now, and if you get more headlines that the algos can actually key in on words and then trade about, I agree. I think you'll see increased volatility. He is
a keyword spewer.
Yeah,
that man.
That's a good way of putting it.
No, Sam. It wasn't something that we said on here. It was in our happy hour chat. When I say we talked about it, I was referring to Ryan. There's a happy hour show at the after the close that Benzinga Pro members attend, and we talk a lot about a lot of different things. And we just talked about what we were saying there just now. So. He's a word spewer. He is. He talks. He says a lot of things. He loves being on camera. And every time when he came on camera during, especially during 2020, things would move a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Kodak is a really good example of that, right? And Kodak, like of all companies, like what? Anyway, G-Sun here is selling off, slowing down. Maybe we get a curl. One to keep on radar, but I don't think this is ready yet.
Brett Green, real estate and consumer defensive sectors, top sectors. Now, there's a reason for that. Sorry, go ahead with FGen.
Yeah, no, the reason I just wanted to mention FGen did break that 160 level to the upside here. So this is going for some more here. Looks like I've got the pre-market high on FGen right at about 173. Here we go, starting to speed up. I do see some size above this. No position, unfortunately, a little bit late here. But this volume, this told the story here, folks. At expanding volume, that's the key to the trade right there.
To put a point on the real estate and consumer defensive, there's 4 sectors that are doing worse than everything else this year so far. That's real estate, utilities, consumer staples, and consumer discretionary. So if you find names that are good companies, strong companies that are just not trading very well, like they're down, making maybe 52-week lows, those could be some really good opportunities in those particular sectors. So there was probably a good amount of institutions and other retail traders looking for opportunities in those sectors, especially real estate. That thing is very, and utilities. They're so rate sensitive that if we get a hint or a thought, a market sentiment that rates are going to be getting cut soon, then those 2 in particular are going to do really, really well. It's going to be opposite if we don't get them.
Wisdom, take care of yourself. Have a great day, my man.
Enjoy those edibles, sir.
I wasn't even going to do that. Take care of yourself.
Really? That's interesting, Leo, or Lion Atlas. I call him Leo.
Leo. I don't. My scanner here has totally dried up.
Yeah, does it look like Death Valley?
I don't know if it looks like Death Valley. That might be going a little far, but it's definitely dried up in terms of new trading opportunities. My goodness. Oh, I love the comment earlier, STFU, Apple Pencil is ridiculous. I can't tell if that's a good ridiculous, a bad ridiculous, if you like it, if you don't like it. Can't tell on that one.
SPG doing well.
Yep. Simon Property. Kingdom Lamb says he's buying an Apple Pencil here today. He was sold. The event sold him. Taking a look at some of these calls here. Baba puts. Where are we at with Alibaba? Baba 70 puts. Looks like they're looking for this to trade back down to the consolidation area. So unusual options trade here. The Baba 70 puts that expire June 21st, about 1,046 of those. They're cheapies though. So, but it was an aggressive buy. No trade off that one.
Logitech invented a pencil 15 years ago. I'm not going to even get into that.
Alyssa saying, can confirm Apple Pencil is goated. So here's what I'll say. Alyssa, I mean, you would know far more about this than I ever possibly could. I don't even think I've used the Apple Stylus or the Apple Pencil in any regard. Is it really going to be that much better for artists? I would imagine. I would imagine.
So they've innovated a pencil.
Well, again, that's what they're calling it, the pencil. In actuality, it's a stylus. So they've upgraded the a secondary interface for their iPad product. That's how I would put it. And so I'm curious from Alyssa here, is it more accurate? I know that they kind of showed like the rotation. You can kind of change the angle of what the stroke looks like or whatever shape the end is. But no, 13, it's not a replacement for your traditional pencil that you've been using for the last 40 years.
My phone comes with a stylus.
Yeah, mine too. But it doesn't have all this cool stuff apparently.
What? Okay. I'll look into it tomorrow. I want to
stay focused here. This is what I needed to see. Not paying $150 plus for an Apple Pencil for my Pro. Not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, if you do, then you may as well just get the headset to go along with it.
Yeah, and probably the new keyboard. So that's what you should do. Stay focused. You should do the new keyboard for the iPad, the new pencil, and the Vision Pro. And after you spend that $5,000, let us know how it went and what you think of those products.
No, everybody here is making good points on both sides. Oh, so now it's over. Is that it? That was the last thing that they featured was the pencil.
Yeah, I stopped. It looks like it's over now.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go back to trading. Oh, hey, look at that. FMC now over 66.
And by the way, now that the event is over for Apple, we got Alyssa. Maybe some news here on the Apple Pencil. Real quickly, Alyssa, Apple here, that so far looked like that was a sell the news event as Apple continues to trade down. Enlighten us about the Apple Pencil, Alyssa.
Okay. So hold on. First off, what are we talking about? Just the Apple. Did they announce? You said
we're talking about your comment. Apple Pencil Pro is goated.
They are, yes, I think so. As if you're an artist, like using Procreate and all that, like daily use out of it is pretty good. I don't know.
What's the big thing with the pen? Is it the accuracy? Like
I would say the accuracy.
On the screen? Okay.
I would say it's the accuracy. Yeah.
Okay.
Is this going to like help with higher resolution images or like is this a better pencil for like 4K versus like 1080p images?
It's the stylus. It's the way it actually like translates to what you're doing, like the pressure and all that, and just the accuracy and like just how it is, not the resolution or anything. That's the app you're using. That's where that goes in.
Okay. So it's basically, so this is kind of what I initially said there. It is the interface between the device, like the input device and the device itself. You're getting a better connection there. You're getting it. It's just, and so it would stand to reason that anything that you draw natively on the iPad is going to look better because you're just going to have more control, more sharpness.
Yes, that's it. Like you have more control and all that. Like I draw every day, like literally every day. So the way, like, here's my pencil, right? It's just the way it goes. It's nice. I don't know how else to explain it. I know it's expensive, but
when you're using that pen, when you're drawing, does it ever skip or does it make really good contact with the pad itself? You never get like skips in the line?
Never skipping, never. Okay. It's always there. Yeah.
Okay.
And like the pressure, it never like messes up ever. It's pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, Apple input devices are generally speaking pretty awesome. I know the Magic Mouse has some controversy out there. A lot of people don't like it, especially people with like me with big bear paws for hands. The Magic Mouse is just too small, but their input devices are generally top of the line. So I'm not surprised to hear that.
Well, let's see how this works.
Alyssa is explaining perfectly. I agree with her. Okay, so the art teacher confirms Alyssa's assertions. Let's go.
Yeah.
I like the nonchalant fist bump there, Alyssa. That was really good. It was really good. Thanks, Bex.
What else did they come out with though? Anything else from that that announcement besides the pencil and the iPad? So
I'll be real with you. I wasn't really paying attention to it because I was drawing.
So she was using the pencil. There we go.
Apple products.
I did see Andrew Ross Sorkin this morning saying he was really looking forward to the iPad the keyboard that connects to the iPad for enhanced capabilities. I guess it's going to make it more Mac-like. I don't know why you just not use the laptop itself, but then the M4 chip, that was the big thing. Lynn and Randy had been mentioning that.
Just to get back to stocks real quick, I'm just looking at some of these movers that we were mentioning earlier this morning. Some of them are really starting to curl now. AIRE and, well, maybe not CMMD, but MTC is starting to curl a little bit better. Peloton trying to retake VWAP. ESPR trying to do the same right now.
ESPR made it all the way back to its VWAP.
Yeah.
Hims has had a tough day, let me tell you.
Apple Ring. Did they announce a product that's like a ring?
I didn't see that.
Or is it like a? No, it is. Apple Ring tracks heart rate, activity, sleep. Okay, so
that's just basically competing with the Aura Ring, right? The non-Apple Ring. Yeah. So they did. Okay.
Yeah. So is this something that if you don't want the watch, you get a ring? Or I mean, I know that they don't. It probably is not going to have a screen, but
so yeah, it doesn't have a screen. So the big thing, as I understand it, with the ring, and actually Zunaid, I think, got an Aura Ring and talked about it a while back. The big thing about the ring, I will say that the ring will do a really good job tracking your sleep patterns. I don't know about all you folks. I really dislike wearing a watch to that. Like, is there a joke that I'm missing here?
I'm just kind of laughing at this because it's like, oh, hey, now you're officially married to Apple.
Okay, that's actually not bad. Yeah, you buy the Apple Ring. Wonder if it comes with a marriage certificate on top of that. Carmen, Apple's been copying people for a long time. They're going to try to make. I mean, when the Apple belt comes out, that's really where it's going to be at. That's what's going to be lit.
They need to come out with a shoe.
I'm kidding. A shoe and a belt.
They need to come out with a shoe. Tracks your steps. I'm sorry. I'm having too much fun with this.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Things did kind of slow down here.
Apple suppositories. We're getting off the
All right, yeah. You guys should probably dial it back just a little bit.
Tells you when to take your Ozempic. There you go. Oh man, you guys are funny.
The RLO traded above yesterday's intraday high here. Snap, got to mention earlier, as that was moving up here. That Snap, nice little bounce off of its VWAP. Google continuing its curl up to that 174 spot on Google.
Speaking of curls, Peloton is getting back above its
nicely
VWAP
done.
now.
Nicely done. Speaking of curls, let's talk about exercise equipment. Just so well done.
No, you guys are actually, as funny as you guys are, you're coming up with some really, really interesting ideas for the next Apple device. The Apple toothbrush. Like I'm not completely poo-pooing this, because this could actually end up being something. Like the Apple toothbrush. No, you didn't scrub enough. Keep going.
Doesn't the thing automatically shut off? Yeah, when the battery dies.
Okay, now you're getting into the
you guys are really starting to fly off the handle here, guys. Not gonna lie.
ESPR looks like it's trying to
JMIA, new
intraday
intraday highs here on Jumia.
Oh gosh.
You see what you did? That's
Yeah,
what we call
I'm
Pandora's
sorry.
box, 13. You're
You know
just
what?
like, oh, look at this shiny box that says do not open. I'm going to open it real quick and just see what's inside.
And if I had to do it again, I would.
You'd do it again. Yeah, I know.
I would do it
that's
again.
that's what separates us from the pack. Lynn saying, don't forget about the Apple Car in case that makes a comeback.
Oh, hey, you know what? Root, I think you're right, Crow. Root's coming back.
Yeah, that popped earlier on volume and it is continuing to do so here. New highs. Market is at the highs here. SPY, NASDAQ, and Dow across the board. I looked up Smanushin is talking TikTok on CNBC, so I'm not sure that's what's driving it here. No, there's definitely nothing wrong with a few laughs. As we mentioned earlier, laughter heals the soul, and we will continue to try to do that here.
Well, you know, this is what we can expect when we have these days where there's not a whole lot to trade or the volume isn't great.
I mean, I'm looking around. I'm looking at Twitter. I'm looking at any of the traders that I know. I don't have a whole lot going on here.
Oh, no.
I see people on FinTwit arguing about the Yankees. So I know it's a normal day.
I mean, Line Atlas, if Apple made an airplane, then I think I would buy Boeing stock because Apple airplanes would crash.
You know what? How's Boeing? We didn't even look at Boeing. How's that doing here today? Okay, so just kind of trading sideways after that drop yesterday. Apple may be bouncing here. What do you think? Stay focused. We get a close back to the VWAP here. Another point on this move up.
You know, as long as Boeing can stay above its 20-day SMA, I still think that there's a chance it could push through the 50 where it was rejected yesterday. We'll look for a little bounce, maybe off the 20-day SMA if it gets down there. A little Boeing, if you will.
News was, oh my God, NUZE halted here. This really popping on volume. This went from $1.60 to $2.57 and into a halt.
And what is this one about? A coffee and technologies. So is this the other side of Starbucks? If we're not going to be playing Starbucks, this is the one you want to be in? This is like the kind of like the K-Cups kind of thing, or what is this exactly?
No, I don't think so. I mean, here, let's...
Because I know that that's a Keurig Dr. Pepper thing. I didn't know if this was some other off-brand.
Who owns Nespresso?
Let's find out.
Excuse me, my goodness. Espresso USA. I don't think anyone. It's not public. It might just be a private company.
Espresso House, or what exactly?
No, Nespresso.
Oh, Nespresso.
The other coffee. You just. I was thinking out loud. You asked me.
Wouldn't it be Nestle? It's Nestle.
No, they own Nespresso. Nestle owns Nespresso. Okay.
Nespresso.
Yeah, I mean, just wasn't sure.
It says that they do here.
Okay. Well, there we go. Lynn, I can't even tell if you're joking, but I will check on Hollow just because we've seen it move before. Look at this. Hollow's going back for pennies. This former, $50 or $100 stock or whatever. Yeah, 100 going back to pennies. How about that for Jay Rice? How about that for a round trip? Man. Real brokerage, ticker Reacts breaking higher here. Nestle and George Clooney own Nespresso.
Reacts is moving?
LOL. Yeah. REAX.
What is... Oh, they had earnings. Interesting that we're seeing so much movement in some real estate companies lately. Have you seen how much Rocket and United Wholesale have been moving lately?
I have not. I think
they've been squeezing. They have been squeezing.
You think these move up if rates lower?
Well, if rates go down, then that's going to make it easier for first-time buyers to be able to afford the rate. I'd imagine that it would go up on rate cuts. That would be my thought.
Nespresso machines are a pain. Hated those things in Germany. Took forever to make a cup. We must be talking about different Nespresso machines. They are faster than Keurigs. Use it every morning.
Just kind of looking through these movers that we were trading earlier.
Nice to see Costco at the highs.
Seems
almost
like
2% here today.
Seems like Peloton and ESPR are the only ones worth considering from this morning. Maybe not Peloton. It needs to get back above VWAP. Having a bit of a time trying to do that, but it could go. Well, the Apple humanoid spoke to coming back into the Apple discussion. Hey, they need to make a humanoid. They already have that. It's their consumers.
Stay focused regarding Apple. Apple, nice scalp, but I see a lot of overhead resistance. Yeah, me too. Like I said, I was just kind of playing that out of the open here. I'm still long Apple for an investment thesis, but trading wise, no position here on Apple.
Yeah,
I agree
Apple,
with you on the overhead resistance.
Apple, I want weakness because I want to own it.
And here, just real quick on Apple, this is kind of where we're at here, right? So we gapped above. We've actually tested the 200-day. We're really not able to kind of go any higher here. I do expect another test here on the 200-day. We're only, $1.50 away from that spot. And then if we break that, we actually have the 100-day lining up very close to the 200-day here. If we break these, we have a gap down towards 173, 174, that gap fills.
Well,
so, I mean,
if we're still in this downtrend all year, like if you back out a little bit, if you just scroll out so you can see the whole year, you can see the two peaks that we had. Well, one was actually from December 14th and the other was from January 24th. But if you draw a trend line from those two and keep on going, you'll see that the recent pop we just had almost got up to that trend line. We're still in a downtrend. I'd be looking for that downtrend line to break.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
I'm talking.
Yeah, you're talking about this, I think, right? Right here.
Yeah.
And then this.
Yeah.
Kind of what you're looking at.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
I saw it in my head, but I didn't draw it on the screen. I was like, that might be confusing. Anyway, I see the same thing here. But had a decent entry here this morning. And actually, if we go back to that, I'll actually show you the setup. So the setup here was we have the pre-market range here, call it 184 to 182.50. And we're waiting to see which direction is Apple going to take, right? So it broke up out of that range. It back tested and held 184. That was the entry trigger. And then we just sold into the strength as it continued to trade up. And actually I did a fairly decent job. Didn't quite top ticket, but sold it really close to the high there. And then once we broke back down, we waited for the setup to come back and it never really did.
Look at SGBX. This is when we traded, I think, either yesterday or last week. This one's breaking out right now. Here we go.
This making a run for yesterday's intraday high on SGBX. Volume not what I'd like to see here, but
it made a move, and it's really spready. Looking like 15 cents spread. Sorry.
Stay focused asking Disney long. I am not in any Disney long. I don't, again, when we were talking about this earlier before we started, I don't really follow Disney. I don't have really any experience with their products or anything like that. I don't really use anything that I'm aware of from Disney. This not looking great here. I'd love, what is your long, if you were going to take this long, what is your long thesis here on Disney? I don't have one. We're really kind of sitting at the 100-day moving average here. 200 days, $95, and our $10 lower. All right, we got about 2 minutes here till we finish up. We're going to be moving over to Anne-Marie for options action here pretty soon. So really looking forward to that. 13, any kind of closing thoughts here on the session here today? Maybe where we go from here? Got about a minute left.
Well, given the low volume today here, maybe if you've done well, just take a little bit of a day vacation, sit on your hands, do whatever you got to make sure those gains aren't lost in some trade that looks good and doesn't work out because of how low the volume is. Protect yourself. If you did really good today, maybe it's worth it just to, enjoy the rest of your day. That's what I'm going to do. Take care, everybody.
Yes. well done there, 13. We actually did have a pretty good day here. It started off all right, and it's really kind of slowed up here. I do see SPYs push into highs here, so we'll see where we finish up. But really good stuff here. At least we found some stuff to trade. At least we had some trades right out of the open. So Disney is a short. Stay focused. Okay. Yep. I would say that too. I mean, I could easily see that coming in another $10 there. All right, 13. Thanks so much. Really, really appreciate it. Really good stuff here today. Looking forward to tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
All right, take care, 13. Thanks, everybody. Be sure to smash up the like. All of you that are out here, we love all of you. Go ahead, smash up the like for my man, 13, and perhaps also start smashing up the like for Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie, how are you? Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday to you. I hope you can hear me all right.
Yes, you sound fine.
Okay, superb. How's the day been treating you?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been all right. When I woke up, I hold Portillo. I don't know. You used to live in Chicago or the Chicagoland area. You're familiar with Portillo's?
I'm not.
Okay, so Portillo's is like a Chicago Italian beef burger joint, and it's a Chicago institution, and they've never closed a store. And they're a public company, and I was like, oh man, this sounds like a really good long-term trade, and it has just been awful since I bought it. It has just done nothing but sell off. The management is incompetent. They have really fleeced shareholders, so they reported earnings and are trading down here. So when I started today, my day did not start off all that great. But it very, very quickly changed when we started live trading here for two reasons. Number one, our community is absolutely popping here today. We had a number of really good calls from not just us, but from the traders at large. And then I was able to hit Apple on a nice little day trade scalp there right off the plan from this morning. So turned it around here pretty quickly, but hoping for some more upside, if you will, on the day.
Awesome.
How's it going for you? What are you trading? What are you looking at?
Well, you know what? I'm watching the market break to the north in general, and we'll start there, having a look at how price action is moving. I'm sorry this is taking so long to wake up. Let me see if I close some other screens here so that we get a better feel.
I was going to make a MacBook joke there since we just had the Apple conference, and I noticed you're not on your Mac this time.
No, not this time. But what we are seeing is breaks that look pretty significant if you're thinking price action is going to do something dramatic from here, though. I would say there's a lot of overhead resistance. And it seems like a lot of folks have come in and they're filtering through this mindset that, hey, we're not going to have recession. Everything's going to look great. And at the same time, rates are going to come in. So to me, it looks like everything's going in this direction. But I believe that's why Rocket and those guys are getting a bid. But that is really the thought process there, in terms of price actions coming in, interest rates coming down, because there's really a feel like in the next meeting, we could get a 25-point basis rate cut. And so whether or not that is good news or bad news, eventually is going to be something for the markets to look at. But today, I really think that once we get through this first push to the upside, we should sort of leak back a little bit, because we've had 4 really impressive bounces on the day. And, the moves are so fast that they have a tendency to snap in the other direction. So that being said, I want to come back to Accenture, where we were
real quick, just on that chart that you had up there, it actually looked like the price was kind of starting to slow down, like you had mentioned. And actually, it looks like that's almost in the process then of forming a lower high when you compare it to that 524.61 high that we were just looking at. In fact, is that Thinkorswim that's drawing that channel on there? Okay,
yes,
that's
this
me.
actually is a TTM linear regression channel. So
that's what we
you
talked
can
about
use it in
last time you were on.
combination. Yeah, you can use it
Cool.
in combination. It's really, really good. And so this big savage move up, to me, let's take a look at this. See how the volume is in decline on this way up? Now, we could test these levels, but lower volume into higher levels usually means an exhaustion of buying pressure, right? And so my suspicion is that that's what we're going to run into, because everyone's starting to feel, hey, we're out of the woods. Things look good, only what we're seeing is a lot of other macro stuff that isn't saying that way. But in this lovely bounce formation, remember we were talking about Accenture maybe about 6-8 weeks ago, and the big story was you said, hey, I really want this chart to start lifting and doing some better things because I don't want to buy it beforehand. And so it kept falling and falling and falling. We talked about it. I think we started talking about it somewhere around.
I think it was right around 3:30-ish.
Yeah, right. And so it was right there just after this earnings event. And so what's supremely interesting to me is that it's caught a bid with the rest of the market, and it's now sitting in this zone of, well, I'm not really sure how I'm going to do above here, but it could give us a trade that might be interesting as long as we close above this zone. So when we get together on Friday, we'll revisit Accenture and see what happens. If you're the guy or gal that says, hey, listen, this is shorting action, it's very likely to return to these lower levels. If it's going to bottom, then the perfect trade for that sort of mindset space is, listen, I'm going to take, let's see what the volume is like on these. Atrocious. Can't go to them. All right. So we'll go to the monthly charts in June. And if we expect it to bounce, we can do two things. We can take that low at 295. They're using 300 there. That's where the most of the volume is sitting at. You could use the 300 to 295 short call spread. And if you think it's going to go back up and test 330, but not get over it, you could also put on an iron condor and get yourself almost 50% of that range. If you just want to stick to the short side, though, that 295, that 300, 295 area looks really, really good for the chart to properly behave. It should come in, hold that 300 area nice and round, and continue to move up. My suspicion is that it might actually fade. That's why I'm saying, hey, I'm not super excited about upside movement that runs all the way back to the top. But at the same time, this motion of upside pressure is really fairly strong. So if it pulls back, it could hold the 300. On Friday, if it comes back into the 300, we're going to look at a long position that has low risk and solid reward, and we're going to use a butterfly for that, but it's not quite ready yet.
So I'm extremely interested in that, because you just hit a whole bunch of keywords that I look for in swing trading, right? Long position, not a whole lot of risk, but some pretty substantial reward. That's got me interested in this. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. And I did confirm, by the way, real quick, when we first started talking about this, we were talking about Accenture around 332-ish. That's about where the 200-day moving average was. It tried to bounce off of it, consolidated, and then lost it. So it'll be interesting to see here where this actually bottoms and gives us another long setup.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's take a look at Lilly. We took a trade,
Yep.
I think maybe a week ago, on Lilly, and this is still in a beautiful formation. Now, everything's bouncing right now because the broad market is trying to lift off of these edges, but you'll notice all of these linear regression channels are telling us, hang on, even if we do bounce out, we ought to have a pullback. So we have this Lilly iron condor, and it's lost about 60 cents or so. So it's up maybe 10, 12% in the last week, doing just, remember, when we have short iron condors, and we had sold this one about 480. When it starts to fade and the credit gets smaller, we're actually in the green. So that position is going very nicely. Once again, if anybody is interested in looking at that, it's still got a ton of premium left. So there's still room to run there if you're so inclined. That chart is doing very, very nicely. We also had a post-earnings trade from McDonald's. As we move up the chain here, and as I suspected, McDonald's is giving back a fair bit of its noise. Here's the thing. Do you see this super big candlestick here? I want to share. Did I share this about how volume can affect price ranges? So here's, you look for the biggest volume that's nearby, and you look at the low and you look at the high, and that gives you that relative range that the price action might hover around. And so it's showing us well inside of our ranges to the upside and the downside. We sold this one for $1.24, and this one is doing very, very nicely. It's up about 35% at this juncture. So that those two that we put on continue to look nice. I know a lot of times when people go, oh my goodness, 4 legs, I got to worry about X, Y, or Z. It's just slow gains that just keep clipping. You know, it's the punch, punch, jab, jab kind of thing that allows you to make money in a much more passive way than, say, if you were actively walking through those trades. Then,
so you actually bring, if you don't mind me stopping you there, you actually bring up a really good point regarding the multi-legs. When I first started doing this, that was exactly one of my fears. I'm like, I've got a whole bunch of these legs. I'm really not sure how to manage them. I'm really not sure when to manage them in some cases. So when it comes, especially with the butterfly, when it comes to the butterfly, you had mentioned that you're up 35% there, or just about 35% there. What is your target to start taking gains there?
Okay, so I actually mentioned a short iron condor in both of those.
Okay,
so
I apologize.
That one's not a butterfly. For the butterfly, you always want to look at that middle strike. And so, for instance, here was, we talked about this a little bit. We had a SPY, long put butterfly. We still have it. It's into June. I still think that these price action moves are going to be a little sticky overall. And so we had something that was 470, 480, 490. As soon as it came around into the 480-ish area, which is where this alert is, at the middle strike, you would take it out. Now, we're looking at really both these butterflies sitting in no man's land because it's not breaking out and it's not breaking down. So to answer the risk threshold event first, you want to look at how much you paid for the butterfly and what kind of exposure you have. And 50% is usually that space where I go, you know what? I expect it to come down here. It started bouncing, 50% stop loss. I'm done. I get out of that butterfly event. That's why you want to go small size and then cross your fingers for the big move to the downside. Now, my suspicion is, since we're an inside candle, that this moved to June or July is really going to where it's going to make a difference potentially. But that being said, what we want to do is first say, this is where my price action is, I'm out. The next thing you want to do is, as it comes into your top strike, look at it. And if you're up 50% or higher, you can say, you know what? I'm going to take one of these off. If it takes 3 weeks for you to be up 50%, you know what? Those are great gains. If every 3 weeks we made 50%, we'd be in the catbird seat. And that would be 50% of the total expenditure if we bought a double butterfly. And that one really did come into it was about 70%, because we bought it way up here and it was super cheap down here. And so when it came in, it really started gaining value. So that's that one piece. If the chart runs into the middle strike, I like cutting it off immediately.
Okay.
And the reason I like to cut it off immediately is because at the middle strike, 2 things are going to happen. Well, 3 things. One, it could stay there for the entire time into the end of the spread, and you collect the entire amount. That is one of 3. The other 2 choices is, one, it's going to move further past the strike and we begin to lose money, or it moves in the other direction outside of the butterfly and we begin to lose money. So if there's only one way to win and 2 ways to lose, clip it off at that middle structure. That's just the smartest way from a probabilistic formation. All right, so today we had Apple that I want to look at, and then I also want to look at Tesla. So Apple came in and they had, I think they're still in the middle of their conference, are they not?
No, that conference ended. We were actually watching that during live trading.
Okay, sorry about that. So they came in, they said, hey, listen, we're going to try and make our own chips or whatever, something that made NVIDIA cough up a little bit of a lung. And so that should have brought Apple out over this edge. But again, here's what we're watching. Look at the most volume from high to low and see what this chart is actually doing. I think Apple's a short here. And so you might go, holy cow, that's kind of bold. Well, yeah, it is. A post-earnings trade, which that was it, right? Wasn't that their earnings event just the day before, right? So
yeah, it was last week. It was Thursday of last week.
And then it had earnings, and now they've got this big whatever, and they still cannot get up over that 188 level, just like you said. So much overhead resistance. My thought, I like the short call spread. A fair amount of volatility. So even to June, the 190, 195 short spread gives us $1.13 for this space. Now that these are still sitting in here, aren't they? Yes. So this area I like as the short. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, well, no, I think it's going to be a long, then I would look over here and say, okay, where do I know I'm wrong on the long? My thought would be at the break of 180, we've got a gap that comes all the way down to 173. Yep. And so if you decide to go long and you want to do something like, I don't know, maybe you want to take a long butterfly into next month or something like that, what you want to do is watch for the 180 to fail. And that will tell you, you know what? I do not need to be in this chart. If this chart loses 180, closes a day there. That would be my thought. If you're interested in that sort of formation and you go, I want that, I want to buy a butterfly. The butterfly works best if it's at least 10 wide, right? 5 wide is very precarious. And that gives you $1.29 into June. If you go into July, maybe that's going to be a better number for you. It might be a wee bit cheaper. Let's have a look. No, it's actually more expensive. And so that, I don't know if $1.57, because the break even will be 191.57. So I don't like the pricing there at all. And I really do not see price explosion in any direction for this chart because of what the monthly formations look like, and indeed the weekly formations. They both look atrocious, those weekly formations and the monthly formations. So my thought is I like the short call spread here, and it gives us a little bit of room because we haven't gone above that 188 in a fair bit of time. So I do like that one quite a bit. The next one is Tesla. I want to look at Tesla. And Tesla is in a little bit of a free fall. Now, what's going on with them directly is really a very big story, right? But let's look at the biggest volume candlestick. Earnings event high, earnings event low, and look at what the chart has not been able to do. It can't even get into the low and stay there of the earnings candle. And so this zone here between 184 and 187 also tells us as long as I cannot get above that zone, it is a short, and that short is likely to fill the gap. Okay, we're just moving a little out of favor. Yes?
Yeah, and I was going to say here, so on that candle where it looks like it kind of punches back up into that 184 to 187 zone, it's notable to you because we do not close in that area, right? So we traded into it, but that candle actually didn't close there, and that tells you then that level's important.
Yes. It tells me for candlesticks, when we trade candlesticks, a lot of times traders will say, listen, it's not where the candle opens, it's where the candle closes. And that's particularly important on a daily chart. So for instance, if you're thinking to yourself, let's say price action is here the following day after earnings, and you go, ooh, it's up over the open, it gapped down, but now it's up over the open of the earnings candle, I'm going to go long. That's fine and dandy.
Okay.
If it closes underneath there, you immediately know you're in the wrong direction. The price action has got to give itself some washing room, as it were. And the selling volume has been lower, no doubt about it, than this volume for sure. But at the end of the day, it's all about where price action can hold. And so I took the short 200, 205s for the call spread. And I actually have a long put butterfly that I think could give me something, but right now it's not looking like anything at all because of its savage move to this upside here. But the tendency is that this will likely fade is my thought, right? We've got to have a little bit of a turn of something that says these guys are going to get some traction. And I don't see it here yet. So also sitting here, I would not only look at the 200, I would potentially look at the 195s to the 200, right? That's definitely a potential event right there. Pulls it in just a little bit more. If you haven't taken this one, the 200 to 205, we had this in the Benzinga Pro platform. And now we've got the 195 to 200s. We can see a lot of open interest there. I don't believe that Tesla is behaving like investors believe in the hype from the last earnings call, which the numbers were pretty bad, but Elon came out and gave some other color that had traders feeling, pretty excited about everything else. And, at the end of the day, even after that earnings event, what we've seen is just this fade. And I suspect it fills the gap because this chart is in a very steep downward formation. So I do like this. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say the only other thing that I can recall here from Tesla is Elon floated the autonomous robo-taxi.
Yes.
And there was supposed to be that event. Now, I noticed here that your trade does not encompass that. I believe that was in early August. Someone check me on that if I have that wrong. I believe that's in early August. So it doesn't look like this trade is encompassing that. But what it does look like here, or what I think one of the risks that you could run, are you worried about any type of headlines coming? Could that be one of the drivers here that maybe pops this into the range that we don't want to see it in?
Yes. And even if it does, I think you'll find liquidity up there getting investors covering their positions. I think that's exactly what happened here.
Okay.
The traders have said, whoa, I'm back up at that 200 area. 200 is kind of a sweet spot, right? People like that. Ooh, let's see if we can test 200. Not a chance. Now, if the robotaxi information comes out, it'll come out after the next earnings event, which would be 7/17. So potentially into that, I really don't see a problem, but here's the thing. Because we have the 195, 200, if it breaches 187 and closes a day over there, it would be time to leave. It would be time to leave because it's telling us that, hey, we based here and now we're going to move up here and potentially move up into, that 195 level where the short strike is. Optimally speaking, 200. No, it's 195. Yes. No, it's 200. Yes. 200 would be that short strike. And then 195 would be the cover of that strike. So I suspect that looks perfectly fine. And so I would set an alert at that 195 since it's, the call spread that we're looking at. And, if it breaches that 187 area, it gives you plenty of time to say, no, I got to get out of here. And it's way lower than the short strike at 195.
Okay. A couple of questions here I want to clean up real quick. Really good stuff here so far, Anne-Marie. Nicholas is asking, Anne-Marie mentioned 13 mentioned an upcoming reverse split. Do you typically have option strategies? I will go ahead and answer this for her. Anne-Marie, if you have anything else to add to this, go ahead. The reverse split that 13 is talking about are often on much, much smaller stocks, a lot of which don't even have options chains to begin with. What we're looking at here are much more established companies. So I would say that, and Anne-Marie, correct me if I'm wrong, I would say none of these multi-leg option strategies really apply to what we were talking about, Nicholas. That's something completely different here. This is going to be more for trading some of those bigger cap names.
Yeah, different swimming pools.
Difference. I like that. Different swimming pools. I'm going to use that. The other comment here, it's very unclear to read the numbers on the screen. Heats, or I might start calling you 007 because I just like that so much. We are definitely aware of that. That's actually a product of the broker think or swim here. The numbers are very, very difficult to read. Couple of things. Number one, if there's a number that you're unclear about, mention it in the chat. Either myself or Anne-Marie will try and verbalize it so that you can understand it. Anne-Marie will often also take screenshots of these and make them bigger if that's helpful. But then perhaps most importantly is remember, Anne-Marie has her own dedicated chat room to these trades in Benzinga Pro. So if you ever want to check that out or have a reference for that, you should head on over to pro.benzinga.com and get started on your 2-week trial. Sorry, Anne-Marie, had to throw that plug in there.
That was perfect. Love it.
Okay.
Absolutely love it. Okay, so we have like
less than a minute.
Less than a minute. Well, less than a minute. That's going to be a tough one. We could also look at Boeing starting to leave its area again. That might be really nice. Short, but we are going to talk about that one also, I think, on Friday. I like the short action here in this chart fading off of the edge. So what I'm going to be doing is covering my short iron condor that I have up in this range. It's got some good erosion to it. And we will also play these. It's a good big company to watch. And I suspect we've got some more downside going here. So we'll look for that in the future.
In the broadcasting industry, we call that a tease. Anne-Marie, we will see you on Friday for some more options trades here. Really good stuff here. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Smash up the like for our options expert, Anne-Marie, folks. Anne-Marie, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you on Friday.
Thank you so much. You too. Bye.
You're welcome. Take care. All right, folks, that is going to do it here for us today. I know it kind of slowed down a little bit, but really good stuff across the board. We had some bigger stocks that reported earnings, made some trades here today that ended up working out. We had some smaller movers that we were watching. Let's see where the market settles, and we'll be right back at this again tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Stay